Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the GW-E100. It's the Tier 10 German SPG. This one's located on the southwest spawn of Highway, and it's under the command of randyxx777. Now this is a Clan Wars battle, as you can see right at the top. The countdown is already almost finished. Game on! Now, because of Randy's unique playstyle, well, it's not unique because other players do the same thing. He looks away after he shoots, and that means that in order for me to follow the battle, I have to take control of the camera after he shoots, otherwise you will lose any sight of what actually happens to the shell after he fires it. It's a 21 centimeter howitzer, and it's capable of doing 900 alpha, penetrating 53 millimeters of armor, and it's got a 37.39 second reload time. You can see that Randy's got it down to 28.85. Okay. Well, this Arty is basically a version of the E100. He's aiming for that leopard. Rounds out. He did manage to get some damage. It was splash damage, 375 from that shot. And you can see he's already moving and changing position. Now, seeing as it's a Clan Wars battle, you don't get to see what's on the enemy team, and it could be that there is an enemy Arty we don't know. We can only observe them as they get detected, and you can see the list increasing over on the other side. The reason the camera is moving about so much is because he's reselecting targets. Going for the T95 FP4201. Well, that appeared to land almost alongside the chieftain, and you can see that he's already moving, changing position again. Now, the E100, they did actually complete one version of it, or rather they completed the hull of the E100. They didn't actually finish the tank off altogether. It was going to have the same turret as on the mouse, and the version that you see in Wargaming in the game actually is not the version that it was actually intended to carry. It's basically, this Arty is a figment of Wargaming's imagination, because there are no details of any plans that the Germans made for any E100 Arty. You can see the rescuer's trying to jump all over the place. He's trying to get a shot on that EPR, but he wasn't able to do so, and so instead he's going back to the other side of the map where he last saw that chieftain. Fires another round in, and he hits the bush where the chieftain was sighted, but we've no idea if he hit anything. So yes, this Arty didn't exist, but the GW Tiger did exist, and that was based on the Tiger 2, the Panzerkampfwagen 6 Ausführung B, which obviously became known as the Tiger 2 eventually, or King Tiger, Königstiger, and he's wandering all over the place at the moment. We're trying to see exactly where he's aiming. He's aiming at that bush this time. Rounds out. Well, trees are knocked down, but no damage as far as we can tell. So it's possible that the Germans would eventually have actually built an Arty based on the E100 hull had it not been cancelled by Hitler. And yes, it was cancelled. That's a fact. He did actually cancel it in favour of the mouse, because he was far more interested in building a big super heavy tank than in actually building anything else. Rounds out again. What he's trying to do at the moment is hit places where he thinks the enemy might have located some of their tank force, until we actually find out where they are. And we've only located a few of their tanks already, the ones that were actually seen going into the town, and of course the EBR that was killed. And of course they lost one leopard who was out in the field rather on his own. The whole point of clan battles like this is to actually try and act as a group, as a cohesive force, and attack with a strategy. I've actually taken part in Clan Wars battles myself. I was not an active supporter of it in my clan or the clans that I was in, because obviously I'm an Arty player. So I would tend to only play Arty, or if I did take part in a battle, I'd be the lone scout who would actually go out ahead and try and find the enemy for my teammates. Okay, well, he's suddenly spotted an enemy tank nearby. It's the chieftain. Managed to get fairly close to us. Bounce out. Direct hit right into his side. 372 hit points. That's a good score. Now that he's got some real enemy to fire at instead of bushes, he's getting into it and getting stuck in. Well, he suddenly noticed some enemy tanks over in the town centre, but I think these ones are more important because they're much closer to him. Okay, he's loaded. Which one's he going to go for? He's going for this one now. Rounds out. Another direct hit, 388. Of course, these are all non-penetrating shots because they're all below 450. 450 is the alpha, half the alpha for a non-penetrating. I mean, notice that Wargaming seems to have made it a rule that if you do get a non-penetrating shot, that it always tends to be below half the alpha. Not above half the alpha, but below. Another direct hit. You rarely see tanks take a hit for more than half the alpha, which is strange, but I suppose that's Wargaming trying to minimize the damage that Arty can do to tanks by only making them score below the half alpha. That Bobjex is actually doing a good job spotting for us, and he gets another hit. Now you may have noticed that Randy is actually moving about after he fires. He's relocating, and actually this is a good practice to do, because if you are a regular Arty player, you recognise that there's a possibility there's an enemy Arty in the game. And in fact, at the moment, I think we're certain now that there aren't any enemy Arty, because I think we spotted all of the enemy. Well, we managed to get that one out without me watching the shell, because I was watching him at the time. But yes, I think we now know that there are no enemy Arty on the enemy team, and as a consequence, he's less worried about being counter-batteried. He's decided he's going to go for this one instead. Rounds out. Oh, splash kill. Only 68 hit points, but he landed the shell next to the chieftain when he had the low hit points left, and that was the end of him. See, the standard reload for this Arty is 37.39 seconds. I may have mentioned it before. He's actually got quite a few seconds off that. Reload time 28 seconds. Now you mark that target, or rather the 268 marked the target, saying please hit that one. I always try to respond by actually also clicking on the target that they've marked to say yes, I am responding, so that they know that they're getting some help from someone. So if somebody marks a target once they spot it, I put the reticule over the target, press the T key, and it tells them, yep, I'm going after that one as well for you. Well, that shell fell short, and I think it's the ridgeline that's doing it, and he's also getting some bad RNG. If you notice the reticule, when he's fully dialed in, it does include that the bottom of the reticule seems to be on that ridgeline, and so I think that's why he accidentally hit that one lower than normal, right at the edge of the reticule. You see, that's it. The crater is actually within the reticule. Yeah, he fires straight away, and he gets a direct hit. So it did work this time. Now there's an unusually large number of Object 277s on the enemy team. That could become a problem later on, because the 277 has a 13cm gun. The T95 FE4201 has a 120mm gun instead. Okay, which one's he going to go for? He's trying to make up his mind. He's decided he's going to go for the 277 this time. Rounds out. Again, it fell short and hit the ridgeline. Didn't do any damage. Again, he's marked the target. That tells his teammate that I'm going for that. In fact, yes, he did it several times there to let his teammates know, yes, I am going for it. I presume he is on TeamSpeak. If he's not, then, or Discord. But it's usual to let your teammates know what you're dealing with next. That was a direct hit. He got that one. This Bobject's doing a very good job. He just pops up, gets sight of the enemy, pops back down again. And we do have some teammates a little further back, including a Jaegeru. And they're also firing in the same direction. Oh, 2 tanks together. Can't miss that. And he did hit both of them. Damage both of them, rather. Whenever the enemy tanks group together like that, it's always wise to try and hit them because you're going to get double bubble. By that, I mean you're actually going to hit more than one tank at the same time, and that can be very deadly to the enemy. You're maximizing the use of the shell. There's been some occasions where I've actually fired a shell and actually scored more damage than I would if I'd got the alpha damage for the actual Arty. That one landed nearby but didn't actually hit. Yes, I've actually scored more damage by doing one shot and damaging 2 tanks than I would if I penetrated one of the others. So sometimes it does work in your favor. It's very difficult to get the solution on those ones there, so he's much better off with these ones for the moment. He fires that one in, and I wasn't in control of the camera at that moment, so again another shot went out. The reason I have to take control of the camera is because he does have this habit of pulling back the view straight away to move immediately, and I can understand not wanting to be counter-batteried. But if you won't let your teammates see, or your viewers see, what you actually do, it can ruin the video. Well, that one fell short of hitting both 277s. So again, that's an annoying one. And one of those 277s just killed one of our teammates. In fact, two 277s actually killed teammates. So we're not having a great time here at the moment. We're 2 up on the enemy, and our teammates seem to have conquered the city, but we're watching our team get whittled away bit by bit. Well, that guy got stunned. We're seeing a lot of actual damage, but not much in the way of stun assist out of this game so far. You can see he's holding the aim on those 277s for the moment. Now they bunch together again, and oh, we lost the Bobject there. Okay, he is loaded. Rounds out. Well, again, damage both of them. Stunned both of them as well. But we're now losing teammates rapidly. We've got one of our guys in the enemy cap area, our T100 LT, who is very reluctant to actually get involved in the battle at all, for that matter, right up until, because the EBR was doing all the scouting, not the T100, but he's now over in the enemy cap area, and he looks like he's... Oh, that was a lovely kill shot there! Right up the rear of that 277. Yeah, I interrupted the fact that the T100 LT finally takes part in the battle, and what he's actually doing now is he's helping our team to cap out at the other end, and we've only got 1 minute left, and well, I'm wondering what's going to happen here, because it looks like these guys are getting really close to our cap. Tries to aim on that 277. Oh my god, these guys are moving quite rapidly. He fires and misses them all together. They might find him actually, because they're really close and he's got no teammates left on his team in this area. None. I think the only reason they can't see him is because he's in the bushes. And our teammates over at the enemy cap, they're about to cap out. And they've capped out, and he fires one last round in. But they won for us. They capped out. Here's the end of battle stats for that Clan Wars battle. And you can see no medals or mastery badges or anything like that. But you can see that randyxx777 actually did very well in the game, because he got a win rate of 3,630, which is Super Unicum standard. So, and you can see a large number of enemy tanks that he did hit in that game, and he got 2 kills out of it as well. Let's have a look at the team score and see where he is. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in this one, because the Strip 103B, one of the defenders of our cap, actually managed to get 4,321 hit points. Second highest damage was the T110E3 with 4,105. And the third highest damage in the game turned out to be the Object 277 on the enemy team, who managed 3,820, and that guy was alive at the end of the game. In fact, there was only 4 members of the enemy team, rather, alive at the end, and I think one of those was actually over on the far side of the battlefield, trying to defend their cap area. In fact, there was only 5 members left alive on Randy's team at the end of that game, because from the DMB clan, you can see the other ones were from the WN clan, there was only 5 members, and again, most of the, well, all but Randy were actually over on the other side of the map. Randy was the only one left near his cap area right at the end, but he managed to stay alive because he stayed in the bushes, so he didn't get close enough to the enemy for them to proxy spot him. If they had got within 50 meters of him, they would have proximity spotted him and killed him straight away, but sadly, well, thankfully rather, he stayed out of range of them, so that they didn't know he was there. They must have realized that there was an Arty somewhere, but I think they were more interested in capping out towards the end of that game. Well, Randy got 3,208 hit points of damage out of the game, and there were 3 members of the enemy team ahead of him and 3 members of his own team, which means he was in 7th place overall. When it came to kills, though, he actually was in joint 2nd place, because the top scorer was the T110E3 with 3 kills. 2 kills went to Randy on his own team, and 2 kills also went to 3 of the Object 277s and 1 Leopard on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, he's actually a lot further down the table. He's in 6th place on that one. 927 went to the E3. The Bobject, or 2 of the Bobjects, 898 to one, 893 to the other, 874 to the T100 LT. So he probably redeemed himself at the end of the game by actually going out and capturing the cap area. 861 to one of the other Bobjects, and then finally we've got Randy with 860. He fired 27 rounds in that game. Good job that the game did end when it did, because, well, it's the last minute of the game. But you see, this Arty only has 30 rounds of ammunition, so he'd only had 3 rounds left right at the end. Of course, he did fire that last round that he had in the breach, but he would have only have had 3 rounds left at the end of the game. 7 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, but he did get 18 splash. Damage of 3,208 hit points of damage, and all of it was at more than 300 meters. So no close range shotguns on the enemy. Although he tried, he actually missed one of the 277s. I don't think that 277 saw it, because I think he was firing through the bushes at the time. So being that he wasn't seen, that's why he wasn't killed. 8 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were killed, and he got 16 stuns in the game, but no stun assist at all. None. Would you believe that? On a free-to-play account, he earned 39,110 credits from the battle, but after resupply of ammunition and consumables, he actually made a loss of 37,050 credits. 860 base XP, and no multipliers, so that's all the experience points he took away. But Clan Wars can be rewarding. It can be very interesting as well, because you are acting as a team for once. And it's not just one player amongst 15 who are trying to win the game for their team. It's actually one player in a 15 big team working together. And if an Arty player does actually take part in the Clan Wars battle, sometimes they can be absolutely essential because they're pumping out rounds as quickly as they can to try and help their teammates overcome some of the enemy tanks that are being really difficult and stubborn. But they can also be susceptible to the enemy light tanks. If the enemy light tanks work out where the Arty is, and frequently they do get told that the Arty's in that place, can you go and deal with him? The light tanks will immediately turn up, the enemy light tanks, and they will see you out. They'll kill you very, very quickly. So it does help sometimes to have a bodyguard nearby, some tank that can actually help out in the event that an enemy light tank tries to wipe you out. But well done to Randy for being on the winning team. He put up a hell of a firepower during that game, and he accumulated a large amount of damage for an Arty, but it's very surprising that he got no stun assist. And maybe his teammates just weren't interested in actually doing anything to actually help him to get a bigger score. But it does sometimes happen that you get a large number of tank players in a game and they really don't understand or appreciate Arty, and that Arty needs to get stun assist in order to get a higher amount of credits at the end of the game. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.